Hello, welcome to my stamp room. My name is Terry Phelps, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And yeah, tonight we're going to work with the bundle that is called Pop Up Petals. And this is actually an online exclusive, and it was back in November. So I've had it for a while. And I thought, you know what? I want to play with that. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. I've made some alternatives, and I won't show you what we're going to make. We'll just make it, and then I'll show you some alternatives after. So let me go down to my desktop. So this is the stamp set, and I really liked this because I like these type of flowers. I like the drawing. It's kind of casual and kind of fun. And I love, love, love the sentiments in this. It's thanks for being there, grateful for your friendship. You make my life better just by being in it. You get me, and I appreciate that. And I really like those sentiments. That really rings home for me, let me I know I wanted this for that. And then this is the dies, and this is what they look like. So these are the pop-up mechanisms, and you get a larger one and a smaller one. You could use the small one. They work in any card. I've used them interchangeably between note cards and regular cards, but this one I would probably use for the note cards and this for the regular cards, but they do work either way. This is a little die that shows a little flap on top of the pop-up. So that's really fun. And then you get some vases and the flowers. So a lot of these from the stamps have dies. This has a die, this has a die, this, all of it, actually. So this is the bundle that we're going to work with tonight. And I absolutely love black and white papers. And so when this paper came out, now this is going to be going live in the new catalog, which is, I think, May 5th. But this is the Artisan Sketched Garden 12 by 12, and it is so fun. So I used, this is upside down, so I used these papers. And so both sides are black and white, and it's really, really fun patterns. I hope I'm not making you dizzy. And so there's like florals and sprigs. And yeah, and I actually like this type of art too. Like I said, to me, it's kind of relaxed and fun. So love, love, love this page for sure. So I've chopped this up already a lot, but I love that paper. So I'm going to use that with this bundle, and a couple other things, but not a whole lot. I'm pretty much sticking to the bundle tonight. So a pop-up card, if you don't know what that is has a mechanism that pops up a portion of your card to be a 3D. And so it's a really fun interactive card to make. So and you can do it simply by making slits in your card base, or not your base, but layer, but it's a little tricky. You have to line, it's just kind of finicky cutting. So this is really exciting for me to have an actual mechanism that does it all for you. So I'm going to, our card base is a normal 8.5 by 5.5 base, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. So I'm just going to do that. Pretty sure this is a regular. I have scraps laying around, so hopefully this is a regular size. All right, and then, so we're going to fold that. And in making this pop-up card, you're going to really want to have burnish your, oh my goodness, your score lines really well. That's going to become the back since I marked that up with some ink. All right, and so then we're going to have a 5 1/4 by 4 front panel, and I'm going to do this in basic white for my design. So what I say, 5 1/4 by 4. So this looks like this is going to be the 4. And then we're going to go 5 1/4. So I made some alternate cards, and they all are just a little bit different. So it's kind of fun. Did different little techniques. So that's our front base. I just have some scraps I'm going to use for my sentiments. I'm going to have an inside panel because I'm choosing to use a black inside to the card. So we need to have some writing room, right? So I'm going to do this at 4, which this is. And then depending on where I actually do my pop-up mechanism, I can adjust this later. So I'm going to leave this on here for now. And then we need to have a pop-up panel, and I'm going to use this black and white polka dot. It's kind of crazy. I know you don't normally see that on the inside of a card, right? So we're going to do this. If this is a standard size card, which is what we are going to use, just a regular base card, you're going to have your pop-up panel at 5 1/4 by 8 3/8. Now, if you're going to make a note card, and I did do some of those, and I'll show those soon too, but then the pop-up panel would be 6 1/2 by 4 1/2. Okay, and you can use either cardstock as your pop-up panel, or you can use designer series paper. Okay, so that's what. So let's see. So I want 5 1/4 by 8 3/8. So let's do 5 1/4. And then we do 8 3/8. So I've got 1, 2, 3/8 right here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change it up. I'm going to do 8 and 2/8, I think. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm just going on the fly, so we will see what happens. All right, and so then I want to take, and I want to score this. So what did I say this was? 8 2/8. So I want it to be 4 1/8. And you don't want to go too hard on the score line because you don't want to rip your designer series paper. But because this score line is very important to us, we do want to make sure we can see it. Okay, So I'm going to varnish this, but I'm going to do it really lightly because I do want to have that nice crease. All right, I think we are done cutting our pieces. All right, so this is going to be on the inside of our card, right? Whoops, I did it the wrong direction. Oh my gosh. I want it to go this way. All right. Yeah, I like that better. So that's what our inside of our card is going to look like. All right. So let's do the outside panel first. So I'm going to need, and I decided to do this card in all the new colors. And they are gorgeous. I really like them. I'm really, really, really liking them. So let's take this panel, and I really should have a piece of paper underneath. I forgot to grab one. We'll use this. Okay. So what I want to do with this is I don't like just plain old white, and I have a reason for doing this. I'm going to be doing 3 flowers. Our new in colors are 5 colors, right? So 3 of the colors, different colors, are going to be for the flowers. One of the colors is a green, so that's going to be the stems and all that. So I have this leftover color of the in colors, and it is Golden Glow, and it's really pretty. These are the new stamp pads, right? So you can have them attached like this, or you can have them attached underneath, but so that you don't lose your top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a background out of this stamp pad. So I'm going to just swoosh it around. Actually, I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to make some background. And you know what? As I was doing this, this reminds me of when I lived in California. Of course, all the houses, or a lot of the houses, are stucco. And this just kind of reminded me of stucco siding on a house. And I thought, well, that's kind of perfect because the look is going to be pot, and I imagine it as up against a house kind of thing, kind of. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that is that color. We're gonna let that like chill for a little bit so that it gets nice and soaked in. I'm going to, I think while this is kind of like drying a little bit, I'm going to stamp our flower base. I'm kind of discombobulated. I was taking care of my sister-in-law's dog, Ginger, and they just got back into town, and so they were going to come and get her tomorrow, but they decided to come tonight. So I was going to have all this stuff stamped and everything beforehand. Now this is the new basic black stamping pad. It's a hybrid stamping pad, and that's coming out in this catalog. So it will work with both coloring inks and just plain stamping. So it's replacing our Stays On black pad. Ooh, that didn't work out too good, did it? And it is replacing our Memento. So that's why they call it a hybrid. I'm going to see if I can redo this. Now this ink will stain your stamps. That's okay. It doesn't wreck the, you know, the how your stamps work at all. But just so you know, so if you try to keep washing and washing to try to get this off, it won't. And I think really the reason this is not doing so great, I was stamping earlier on a different surface. So I'm going to try and see if this helps. We'll see. Another thing, I found that this pad, now it's a learning curve, right? But it has a tendency for me to smear a little bit. And I think the reason is because I'm pressing too hard. And so, you know, I want to put, you know, apply the same pressure, but I don't need to be like just bearing down super hard on the stamp. And I seem to get much better results. All right. So that's 3 of our flowers. And let's see, I might as well, let's do our sentiments. I think I'm going to switch this up a little bit. What do I have here? Thanks for being there. Love that. And grateful for your friendship. Now, I don't know if this will go. I think it might. All right, we're going to give it a whirl. These are also new, you know, stamps. So they're photopolymer. And so you have to kind of, you know, break them in when they're brand new. A lot of times you can just smack it against your skin, and the oils in your skin will help to get the residue from the machines when it was being made. But let's see, I'm going to use that one. I'm going to try this one here. All right, let's see what happens here. It's really hard for me to stamp. I'm in this little chair. I'm in a chair, a normal chair, but I have to sit so low that it's crazy. All right, so that came out pretty good. I'm going to keep that. And let's do our second sentiment here. This one I want to kind of center a little bit more because and of course, you know, you don't want to roll your stamps at all either. Nice. All right. Now, if I was to try to wash this off right now, it would get a little lighter, but it would not like come off of the so this is still a little wet. So it's taking some of it off, but you can still see that it's going to leave the ink on. So don't panic. It's okay. That's what it's supposed to do. This is a hybrid, so it has to be somewhat waterproof, right? To be able to color on it. Another thing, if you're going to color using the new pads, you're going to want to give it a little chance to rest and dry completely. Okay, so let's so we got that done. Let's take these and color them. Now they're going to be, I think that's all I need for, where'd my cover go? There it is. And I will note too that this cover is a little hard to get off, but it's getting a little easier because it's got like a suction to it, because it, you know, it does need to stay on well. All right, so let's take our flowers here. So this is Peaceful Pine. It's a really pretty. This is a new in color. So I'm going to, this stamp set is a 2-step stamp set. So I love that because you can color all your images really easily. Okay. All right. So let's see if I can do this. Woo. Yikes. I don't know if it doesn't like this, what I have it on. I think it will dry later. Okay. All right. So then we are going to also, so that's the Peaceful Pine, pretty color. So that's 2 of our in colors. And then I love, love, love the hydrangea hue, favorite. Who doesn't love hydrangeas, right? Oh my gosh, they're so gorgeous. All right, so we are going to do a different color on each. And so I have to find an easy way to figure this out earlier. Nope, that's not it. There it is. All right, there's hydrangea, and I'm just gonna, you know, stamp off a little bit here. Okay, and now we're gonna do our next color, which is Crisp Cantaloupe. This is a really pretty color too. It's kind of like, it's a really pale, it's kind of like, I remember the pale papaya we used to have. But I love this color. It's really nice. It's nice to have some subtle colors. You know, we have plenty of nice brights. I like having the alrighty. Okay, and now for our last in color, we are going to, I love how these all stick together. Oh, I love the new magnetic. So this is Barely Blush. And when it goes on the stamp, you swear there's nothing on your stamp because it's barely looking like a color, but it's gorgeous. Alrighty. I mean, you can't even tell there's color on there. Just barely. Okay. So those are gorgeous colors, right? I love them. All right, so we have those done. And then I'm just going to cut these out. And we are almost ready to start putting together. So let me do this real quick. It was in the 80s today. I was like, this is awesome. It's what we wait for. It's why we live here in Minnesota. All right, we have one. Sorry about not having these cut out earlier. I was planning on it. But it'll go fast. We only have two other things to cut. And that's it. There's our second flower and our very last one here. All right, and then the other piece that we we'll need to cut out for our mechanism. We have to cut out our mechanism. And then there is also a little piece that I want to cut for the mechanism as a decoration. So let's see, we've got this little piece, which is it makes a little edge around the, if it looks like a box, you can, so I'm going to use that to decorate. And I think I'm going to do that in, yes. I have a little bit left over from another time, so I'm going to use this to do it, because that will tie in with the front of our card. All right, super cute. And that will have two pieces, and there will be a score line right down the middle so that we can use that easily. Now let me show you how the mechanism actually will work. So you have two of them in the dies. This is the larger one, so this would be great for a standard card. You can use it in a note card size. If you have memories and more, you could use it, one or two or three of them as a pop-up mechanism. And then this is the smaller size, and this would be great for either standard card or a note card. So I'm going to use the larger. So what happens is, let me get this stuff out of here. So we have our pieces. So we're going to bring back in our card here. And my alarm's going off to feed the dog that just got picked up. Not feed her, but give her meds. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be the inside of my card. So but I need to put the pop-up mechanism on here. So this die, they have two little points on each edge. I don't know if you can see that. And then there's a line. So that is where you're going to put it with against your paper on your score line. Okay, so if you can see that, there's two little notches, and you want that to line up with your score line. Really hard to see, but it's very easy. So I'm going to decide where I want to have my pop-up. So this card is going to be a portrait. So I want, just a second, I have to turn this alarm off. Okay. Alexa, turn on. Sorry about that. So I am going to place this on the score line with the two little notches, and I'm going to put some tape down so that it does not move. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And you can see this little notch right here is what's lined up with the score. And then this line is also, oh, might help if I put the cut side down. Ay, ay, ay. You know, just the little things. Okay, so see the notches, they line up with the score line. Yeah, it's hard on this black, but it does, trust me. So I'm going to put that about right there. And the other thing that you want to, when you're designing a card, I'll show it to you when I cut it, because it's kind of hard to explain. All right, so you're just going to run this through. All right, and so then I'm going to take off. And so this is what you have. So this is the inside of the card, and I want this to come and go forward so that when you fold this, and you're going to want to really burnish your folds really well. And I would do it on both sides. All right, so now you have your pop-up mechanism. And see, it's easy to manually just do this, but this is so much easier. And so we're going to put this in like this. Okay, so let's build our outside first. So we have our panel, and this is the ink pad that we just scooched across the top of the panel. And I want this to be flat because pop-up cards are kind of bulky, right? So I don't want to add too much more bulk if I can help it. So I'm going to put this down. Okay. Don't think I need this anymore. All right, I'm going to stand up again. All right. I think that's a neat look. It's a distressed look. I kind of like that. All right, so then we're going to build our flowers. And so I want the hydrangea to be in the center. So I already had a vase that I had left over from another card. So I'm going to use that. And that's kind of why I chose this paper, because this paper is not made to go with this bundle, but I just had to use it because it's black and white. So that is, so I'm going to do this then. So I just want to make sure that my stuff is actually inside the vase, right? So I'm going to put these down straight on. Okay, I kind of moved that again. And I'm just going to put this vase at the bottom of my panel here. That looks about, I'm going to go over here a little bit. Alrighty, and then I'm going to do the same. I want this leaf to kind of pop up. So I'm just going to stick that about there. That's about right. And then I'm going to pop this guy up so we have a little dimension. So I think I'm going to put definitely up here. And I think I'm going to put a smaller piece on this leaf. And that's about it, I think. So I'm going to pop this back up. All right, so I think I'm going to pop because maybe I won't. I'm going to put this down right onto the card base, but I think I'm going to pop up the leaf with a dimensional here because I want this leaf to stay. Oh, crap. Wait. Alrighty, so that'll stay up, and yeah, maybe we'll put another one there too. Why not? Oh my gosh, I got so much glue on my hands. Alrighty. All right, so now that has a little dimension. All right, so let's take, I'm going to put this here. I think what I'm going to do is Do I want this in here? No, I'm going to do this. So I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this on an angle. And I want it to be a little bit, you know, I'm looking at my letters to my cut line, and I'm going to put it at an angle. And I'm kind of trying to make it so that where I want to cut is in a corner, and the other part, the bottom, is also on a corner, so that I'm cutting kind of at a correct angle, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to use that, and I'm going to take my hydrangea. Where'd that color go? And I'm going to do the edges around my banner. Gives it a little bit of a fun look. Whoops. I'm going to use a little sponge, and I'm just going to sponge some ink. I mean, you could use dyes and all that fun stuff, but I just kind of like, I like this look too. Okay, so see how that looks now. It's got a little bit of color. So let's take and again, because this card will be bulky because of the inside, I'm going to let that stay on the actual card. I don't want it to pop up too much. Whoops. So that's the front so far. And I had some leftover butterflies that come with the, you get 2 of these dies. So it's kind of fun. You can cut 2 of them out at a time. I think I'm going to put that there just for a little something something. Right? Okay. Alrighty, and so I'm just going to, I love using a silicone mat. I hate having glue everywhere. Although it's always everywhere anyway. But at least it's contained somewhat. And we're going to go right here. All right, so that's the front. So far, we'll see. We'll see what we do. Alrighty, so I'm going to put this on. So before I do that, I think I'm going to take, and this is that little piece, and this is the top to, if this was to be like a basket or a box, you can only glue one side of this little piece, and then it will like be like a flap on a box. Or you can glue down both. And you don't have to use this piece. It's just another little detail. So, And it does have a score line in it, so that's really nice too. And so I just did it the same as what the front panel is. I thought it would tie that in. And so I'm going to use, I think, some liquid glue. And I'm only going to use one side, I think. Get my glue going here. It's so funny how it works and stuff until I'm live, and then it doesn't. Scared to have it go flying. Oh my gosh. All right. It was working just fine. I'm going to use my silicone pad, and I'm just going to go down one side here. So this goes on the top, and I found that if you use this, so this is the larger of the mechanisms, and this one's a smaller one. And if you want to use these flaps on the smaller one, you can just cut straight up and it will fit. Found that out the hard way. It's like, oh, this doesn't fit. It's like, ay, ay, ay. Alrighty, so I'm going to put this on the other side. And so see how this looks like it's a little box now. The little flaps. Here, let me go up. Whoops. So it's got the little flap. Isn't that cute? You could tie, or you could glue it down to be flat too, above. All right, so before we get going anymore, I want to close. And then when you design, you want to make sure that whatever you are going to put on your mechanism, when you close it, that it doesn't extend past. Like we are going to use, we're going to use this on our flap. So when I put this here, right, I'm going to fold it, and it does not extend past the edge of the card. So it's really important to check that out before you do. If you know, yeah. So that's one thing to watch for. So I'm going to also cut this at an angle and keep this straight. So I'm going to bring back in my trimmer real quick. So I'm just putting enough space between my last letters. So I'm lining my point to a corner, and then okay. Now I think this is kind of a lot of space, but let me see how it looks. I do want it to jut out far enough, so I think I'll leave it. I'm going to put a butterfly there. Alrighty. And then I'm also going to take and do the hydrangea and sponge that also. Let me get this out of the way. It's the little things that make cards or whatever you're doing, right? Just pop. And so just adding this little bit of color just changes the whole look. I like that it's all right. Get this out of the way before I stick my fingers in it. All right. So now is the time where we're going to adhere our mechanism. Okay, so note to self, I probably shouldn't have put those little pieces on yet because I have to watch now whether they are actually folded down. All right, so I'm going to take and I'm going to use liquid glue if I can get it to work. Oh my goodness, it was just working. Let me get a pin. All right, let's see what's happening here. Okay, there was a big old glob in there. Now it's probably going to be like crazy. So I'm going to take and I'm going to make sure that I get a good line around the edges. I don't want it to be blurred out of the back, right? I want to make sure I leave a little bit of space, but all right. So now I'm going to take and I want to push, whoops, this right to the edge. I want to make sure that it's centered correctly. Right? And I'm going to hold this in place. And you can do this however it works best for you, right? Okay. So that's one side, and I have to make sure these little flaps are down because I added them before I actually added it to the card. So we don't want those in the way, otherwise it will not lay right. And I'm using liquid glue because this could move on me. And so I want to have that flexibility, right, to be able to make any corrections. So again, I want, this is already pretty well where it should be, but you just want to make sure that it doesn't slide. All right. And there we have our inside of our card. Now remember so I'm going to put this up here. Now I could, I'll show you other alternatives where I did different things with this basket. But yeah. So I'm just going to attach this. Slide it underneath. Just going to hold it there for a little bit. And see, when I close it, it's not sticking out. There we go. All right. So we need to have a space to write. So that's why I have a 4 by 2 3/4. I wasn't sure because depending on where I actually put my mechanism, that could change, right? So let me see where we're at here. This is 2 and 7/8. So if I do 2 3/4, I think I'm going to do 2. I think we're going to do 2 1/2 or 2 5/8. See, yeah, we're going to do 2 5/8. By 4. And then this will fit nicely in here. Okay. So that turned out pretty well. Alrighty. Are you a liquid glue person or a tape runner person? Depends on what I'm doing, actually, because sometimes you need that flexibility. So I'm going to throw a little butterfly. Ooh, my goodness, that was a lot. I'm taking some. I'm going to put him down there. And I'm going to take him. And I'm going to put him right here. I think he's cute. It's a good spot for him. And let's see, I've got one more. Ooh, I got an extra bonus. Maybe we don't need another sticker. I don't know. What do you think? Why not? Why not? We have him. He's ready to go. Love butterflies. I want my point to show because I kind of like how that looks. All right, so now you have a little space to write, and I had some extra glue there. So when that dries, I'll probably take an eraser to it. So fun, right? Grateful for your friendship. Thanks for being there. I love it. All right, so do you want to see some other alternatives? I had fun with this. The other products that I used were the Lazy Daisy 3D embossing folder. Love this thing. It's so pretty. It looks like this for a better look. And I used note cards and envelopes. So those are nice. And then I used just a little bit. I used on one card, I used the beautiful Sunset Coast. And this is the die set. This is the stamp set. This paper is to die for. It has foil in the water reflection on all of them. And there's like 6 different designs. And then you get these gorgeous sequins. And then there's actually vellum. It's Sunset Shimmer Vellum. So there's, I think, 3 colors in that maybe. So I did not use the vellum, but let me show you what I made. So this one was the one we just did, right? And then I did this one, and this one I switched it up. This is Thanks for Being There. And then You Get Me, and I appreciate that. I love that. I think that's so cool. So that's those 2. Then in the note card size, I've got Grateful for Your Friendship, and this was the black and white paper. I just fussy cut. Ooh, I got some glue in there. I fussy cut one of the flowers and vase, and just built on that. And on the inside, I did flowers in the basket, and then some butterflies. And so it says, Grateful for your friendship, you get me, and I appreciate that. So there's that one. Super fun though. Oh, love it, love it, love it. This is another note card, and this is using that gorgeous daisy, Lazy Daisy embossing folder. It's super pretty. This is on the little popped up flower. Otherwise, this is the bunch. I kissed the butterfly on the vase. It doesn't show up as good here, but it's there. And how you do that is I inked up the vase stamp, and then I took the butterfly stamp and I just kissed it with no ink on top, and that removed the gray, the slate from that. And then you open this up, and it says, you make my life better just by being in it. And so the inside of this one, I just used cardstock, and I kept it really simple, but lots of texture on that. That looks really fun, right? And then this is the one I did with the Seaside, what's it called? Sunset Coast bundle. Or, isn't it gorgeous? Now you can see that this is foiled. That's just gorgeous paper. So wherever this note finds you, I hope it finds you happy. So I took, because the paper is 6 by 6, I wanted to use this paper. And so I just did some adapting and used cardstock. This is actually 2-tone cardstock, so it's not quite as thick as cardstock. And then I just put this in here. And then the sailboat is 3D. But isn't that fun? I love it. Super fun. Beautiful, beautiful card though, I think. So you can do a lot of fun things with the pop-ups, and you can create with both cardstock or designer series paper. So this bundle is super fun to work with. And so I hope that inspires you to try it out. It's easy. They've been around forever, pop-up cards, but I like it when I have a tool that can just do all the fussy cutting and stuff for me. So with that, I will let you go. I hope that gave you some ideas. I love, love, love black and white. It's just so versatile, and these are the fun flowers in the stamp set too, so really fun. So anyway, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you again soon. All right, take care.